like it's Hardee's.
Good morning, everyone. At this time, I'll call the Crow Wing County Committee of the Whole meeting for August 19, 2025 to order. First up today, we have the Crow Wing Master Gardener Program. So if you folks would like to come up and give us your presentation. Tony, no, who's leading it? Brittany, Dan, Jennifer, one of you?
Just a few remarks before I turn it over to my colleagues. Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Tony Hansen, Regional Director with the University of Minnesota Extension. I appreciate the opportunity to appear before you today with the Master Gardeners here in Crow Wing County. The mission of the University of Minnesota Extension is to make a difference by connecting community needs and university resources to address critical issues here in Minnesota. The Crow Wing County Master Gardener Program has continued to have a significant impact across Crow Wing County, serving county residents and providing many educational programs and resources. As you hear the update from this team today, I encourage you to consider if there are other ways that the University of Minnesota Extension can be of service to Crow Wing County residents, either through the Master Gardener Program or our other extension programs. I sincerely appreciate the board's continued support and engagement with the Master Gardener Program. Without your support, all of the good things that you're hearing today would not be possible. So thank you very much for that. Any questions before I turn it over to my colleagues?
Questions? Thank you, Tony. Dan, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, for the time today. As Master Gardeners, as Tony outlined, we're here to serve the people of Crow Wing County, and we could not do that without the support that we receive from the county, and in particular, this body. The support you've given us by providing us with Brittany over the last few years has been instrumental in our ability to do many of the programs and have the impact that we have been having over the last few years. So I'm going to talk to you about what really was sort of the start of our growth trajectory. In 2019, we had about 40 Master Gardeners in the county. Today, we have 80 active Master Gardeners. We've been growing anywhere between 8 and 10 Master Gardeners every single year since then. And in large part, that's because of the volunteerism that we're doing within the county that resonates with the people who are joining the program. And the other thing that's happening within the county in our particular program is the average age of our Master Gardeners has been dropping precipitously. As we're doing more volunteer work, we're getting younger and younger people joining the program, many of whom are still working, but they like what we're doing for the people of the county because it's their neighbors, their friends that are being impacted by what we're doing. First program we're going to talk about is the Community Giving Project. It started at the Northland Arboretum, which you're all aware of. We have a large garden there, and in fact, we hope that some or all of you can come out and see us tomorrow at our annual open house. At that space, we have a number of projects that are all sort of the nexus is there. The first is we have bedding plants that we start each year for projects across the county. So far, we've done about 2,300 bedding plants that our Master Gardeners have started in their own homes and then delivered to us at the Northland Arboretum. We've done 975 patio gardens, which is the second prong of our community giving project, and my wife Jennifer is going to talk to you about that one. That's her passion. We do youth gardening classes. We've so far taught 61 youth basic horticultural skills, setting them off on a path toward being able to sustain themselves through gardening. Then we also teach adult gardening classes, so far 91 students over the years, We have 26 gardeners, for example, this year that are learning horticultural skills, and frankly, a number of them each year join our program because they see what we're doing at the rest of the gardens, and they learn to love gardening. And then the highlight, where it all really started, was our Giving Garden project, which is about a third of the gardens at the Northland Arboretum we devote to growing food for people in Crow Wing County. Since we started this project, we've done over 16,000 or 8 tons of fresh produce that's been delivered across the county to various food shelves. Okay, this does not want to advance. If you could help me. Okay, so here's a picture of our youth gardening. As you can see, very young students, all the way up to 15 years old, that we teach there. Some of these students actually go on to join our adult gardening classes and learn different skills as they're going along. Here's the adult program. In this program, we have people from 16 to, I think the oldest member we've ever had is 83 years old that's come and learned how to garden. I'd point out the picture of the young woman in the middle with the big smile holding a zucchini. She started this year saying, I don't care if you have to go to the grocery store and buy a zucchini and tape it on to a zucchini plant, I just want to grow a zucchini. Well, at this point, she's getting so much zucchini, she doesn't know quite what to do with it all. So I think we've been successful in getting her her first zucchini. And then the rest of the gardeners, you can see there, are having a good time. When you see people learning and smiling like that, you know that you're having an impact on their lives. Next slide. So this is at the Northland Arboretum. We also have a giving garden at CLC in one of the enclosed atriums that they have there. It's a relatively small one, but it serves the students at CLC. It's run by a master gardener. We also have one registered master gardener giving garden in the state or in the county. Although many of our master gardeners in their personal gardens will grow excess produce, and they'll bring it into the Northland Arboretum for us to distribute to the rest of the food shelves. And the partner organizations where we deliver this is broad across the county. It's the Salvation Army, Garrison, Cuyuna, Cross Lake Food Shelves, Pequot, Emily, CWC, CLC, the Relationship Alliance. As you can see, we try to touch everybody that we possibly can within the county. And at this, next slide. At this point, our totals for 2024 so far, last year were 4,500 pounds. It's been building up over time. That's about 9,000 servings of fresh vegetables that were delivered. We used the average cost from last year for a pound of food purchased by food shelves, which is $2 a pound of food. So we think that we contributed about $9,000 worth of fresh produce to the people of the county. Since 2020, as you can see, the numbers are substantially bigger: 16,000 pounds of food, 32,000 servings, and over $32,000 worth of fresh produce that we delivered that the food shelves didn't have to divert funds to buy for the people in Crow Wing County. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, as Dan alluded to, we have a patio garden. So rather than having our residents go to the food shelf, et cetera, we have the organizations that we have a partnership with to deliver these patio gardens to people who can't garden, whether they are incapable because of space physical limitations, or just they didn't know how to garden. They didn't have that expertise, but they get a small patio garden. And this last year, we donated or distributed 246 patio gardens, whether they were pepper, eggplant, tomato. We do lettuce bowls that once the lettuce is done, they get, I know this is kind of funny, 5 beans. They're magic beans. And they can plant those, they're green beans, and then they can grow a second crop. And it's kind of fun because when we hear the stories that come back, which I'll share in a minute, a couple of them, that's what's exciting to us. The average commercial value, last year I had quoted it as $18. You know, we did find that at one of the local stores. I brought it down to $15 because $15 is a pretty good, pretty nice sized tomato plant, et cetera. That's a total of over $3,000 just in the patio gardens that we've been able to distribute across the county to recipients of Heartwood or Cuyuna Medical, it's the senior living, Home Instead, Garrison, both the senior center and the food shelf, Pequot Lakes and Cross Lake Food Shelf, Cuyuna social workers, Crow Wing County Women, Infant, Children, and Social Services who, you know, I mean, that's a story to tell in a minute. Veterans Administration, Emily Food Shelf, and Habitat for Humanity. One of the stories about our relationship with Crow Wing County, with the social services, or with Women, Infant, Children is there is a group that are young mothers. It's a small group within the social services realm who last year received patio gardens. And apparently they have a private Facebook page. And they share their growth of their tomato, pepper, whatever plants that they're growing, along with their children. They show these pictures within that group. And so their representative contacted me and said, is it possible they could get 2 because they got so excited last year to grow salsa, you know, tomatoes and peppers. And I said, I think we can make that happen for you. And she said, you know, last year it was really fun because I actually got like a standing ovation from this group of 7 women. Our hope is maybe we've got some future gardeners in the 2026, 2027, whether it's youth or whether it's the parent coming to join us. Those are the stories we love. Next slide. And you can see the pictures from all of our various partners coming to get, and I tell you, it's a troop. When they come in, we are loading up those trucks and cars with multiple patio gardens and containers, and they get pretty close with their plants. Next slide. Again, showing just some more of the recipients. They get instructions to pass off to the recipients so that they know how to garden them, how to water them, etc. And then the next slide. So from Habitat for Humanity, we provide the gardens to the new residents that were built last year, because we know that they're not in the construction mode right now, but they maybe don't have a garden. They maybe don't even have a yard at this point. But to be able to give a patio garden so that they can start understanding how that garden works and love their house even more is rewarding. The Veterans Administration, they provide the plants to their volunteer drivers and the veterans who really appreciate it. And what a great thing, because we all know that growing something gives you that sense of pride, sense of satisfaction, and just the sense of calmness that gardening and loving something can do. So to be able to pass that on to others so that they can appreciate it is something that we love to do. And we are honored to be here with you and have your support in our mission. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our superpower, Brittany Gorgas.
Thank you, commissioners, and thank you, Dan and Jennifer. Dan and Jennifer exemplify what it is to be a Master Gardener volunteer. They clearly go above and beyond in their endeavors, and really with the Community Giving Project, focus on their passion, which is access to local food in Crow Wing County. And we have 78 volunteers, maybe not quite as devoted as them, but nearly as devoted as them in the county. They touched on our growth over the past years, from just 40 in 2019 to now 80 active volunteers doing projects at 33 locations countywide. Next slide. And it really shows the mission of the program is to have volunteers that take the knowledge from the University of Minnesota and the direction from the County Extension Committee and address needs in their community. So we have a breakdown of the number of Master Gardener volunteers per district. And really, volunteers want to do projects that are close to home and make a difference in their community. One example is we have an intern this year who just moved here from Illinois and is living in Deerwood, and on her own got involved in feeding at the community table at St. Joseph's in Crosby, and then also joined the Master Gardener Volunteer Program and is doing the Giving Garden and has been bringing food, harvesting on Monday mornings, and then going and feeding people Monday night with the fresh foods from the gardens. So that's just one example of a volunteer taking their passion, seeing a need, and leveraging the knowledge of the U. Next slide, please. A few other examples of projects outside of food access. This was in 2024. We funded $1,000 worth of plants and assisted with the installation at the new roundabout in Crosby. Next slide. A lot of our projects are, we have the community giving gardens where we're always involved, always maintaining, but part of my job is to serve as a point, not only coordinate the efforts of the volunteers, but also manage our communication channels and be a point of contact for organizations. So this past year, we oversaw some installation of new gardens, including at the Women's Center at Teen Challenge. We've continued our strong partnership with My Neighbor to Love and installed gardens and provided the plants for their new 12-plex. Lighthouse Beginnings, the Breezy Point Community Gardens, and Port Group Homes are all examples of projects where the organization reached out and said, we're not quite sure how to get this off the ground or how to get this garden started for our residents. So we give them the knowledge to get the garden started, and then they take it from there. Next slide, please. Water quality is another important thing in Crow Wing County, of course. We partner with Soil and Water, had them speak at our library series. We also put forward any plantings that WAPOA does to our volunteers so they can go assist with shoreline restorations. And then we also have a couple of volunteers that are very involved with lake associations and do educational presentations to lake associations. Next slide, please. Another project I just wanted to highlight from this past year was we did a planting at Eagleview with their summer library reading program. So we had 144 youth do plantings at Eagleview this past summer. Next slide. We're also here to provide answers to the public whenever they have horticulture questions. We've continued our library presentation series at Brainerd. We had 459 attendees in 2024. Our helpline is always available to citizens. We had 45 calls in 2024. So, I think with Google available to people, it's still amazing that they call and get those answers that are specific to our area and our community. We just launched a quarterly newsletter. We had like 98% views of the first newsletter that we sent out, so 1,488, which I was pretty excited about, and we're looking forward to continuing that educational and informational subscription. And then Ask the Master Gardener booths. I know along with a lot of the commissioners, we were at the fair this past year, and we had 800 contacts or conversations with people that we recorded about their gardening or their yard questions. Probably the most common this year was blight on tomatoes with all the rain. So, next slide. Just a couple other projects to highlight and end with. There's Dan and Jennifer presenting to CRMC Senior Living. We have a new project launching at CLC, which is going to be an Indigenous garden, and in partnership with Mary Sam, the Wellness and Equity Director there, which will be maintained by students. And we also sit on the Food Shelf Coalition, so we have, we want to help address food access, but we really need to know from organizations what would be most helpful for them. Next slide, please. So then to wrap up, I'd like to invite you all to our open house, I think tomorrow, 11 to 1. The children will just be getting out of the garden, so if you come at 11, you'll be seeing them leaving with their harvest bags full of produce. So we've invited all of our stakeholders and partner organizations to join us that day. So I know Commissioner Barrows said he can make it. Commissioner Lubke said he has a conflict, so thank you guys for your responses and for your support. Any questions?
No questions. Just a remark, a couple things. First of all, the map where you show what you've done in the county and how you've expanded services since I came on board as a commissioner. That's impressive, and it continues to grow, and the partnerships continue to grow. So I appreciate that very much, because that was a directive that I thought was missing at the time, and you guys have taken that and embraced it, so I appreciate that. I can't say enough about those kids when I go out there and I see them and their faces, and initially they're a little bit bashful, but the minute you ask them to show you what they've grown in that, they just go like ducks.
Yep.
I'll stop there. But they are so proud of what they have and what they've accomplished. And so it's just rewarding to see the impact that has on those kids. So thank you very much for all you folks do.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we're going to move on to number 3. Is Kathy online, or should be the Crow Wing County Fair Association? Is Kathy Stevens online? Okay. We'll move on then to number 4, which would be Kara Terry.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. I'm here today to discuss the Blade opioid grant funding. We recently completed our round 2 of grant funding. This occurred 2 weeks ago, I believe, in which we being many members of the Blade Opioid Coalition, reviewed grant applications, and the grantees made their presentations to the group. Each person or entity scored the grant applications, and so what's in front of you today are those that are approved by the coalition or scored highly by the coalition. You'll see there are 11 grants that are submitted for your potential approval, and the Blade Opioid Coalition is asking for your review today and hopefully approval at the board meeting next week. I recently sent, just this morning, additional scoring information, so you have that in front of you, as well as the total grant amount. With these 11 grants, it totals $203,000. I know you had approved $200,000, so that's also up for your consideration, and I am here for any questions.
Okay, just for clarification, so the other board members, there was a $20,000 cap per application, correct?
Correct, yes.
And then there was a $200,000
Limit.
limit for all of them.
Correct.
And we're at 203 for the top 10 vote getters, correct?
Top, 11, I think it is.
Is it 11?
Right?
Thought it was 10.
It's 11.
11? Okay. So, just so that all the board knows that that's what was, how the scoring went, I guess is how I would say it. So if there's any questions, from my perspective, I'll just say this up front. I'm not going to change the goalposts in the middle of the process. So the 200,000, 203 doesn't bother me, but I don't want to change the goalposts at this point. So I'm going to, from my perspective, I'm leaving my consideration at that 203 number. I don't know how the others feel, but I don't like changing the game plan in the middle when everybody used that as their starting point. So, any questions for Kara?
Mr. Chair, the only question I have is you have Breezy Point Department listed as number 1, and is that still in play there?
So that is for the emergency equipment request that Breezy Point made as a part of the grant funding.
Okay, it's
That's not the community
presentation
paramedic.
they made.
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Thank you for clarification on that, Karen.
I have a question for you. Would you like it on the regular agenda or a consent agenda?
Reference? Consent?
Consent.
I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Kathy, you want to come up? I think we scared them all.
No, not Eric, he's back.
Yeah. Good morning, Kathy.
Morning. Thank you for seeing me this morning. I'm here for 2 reasons. One is to ask for permission to add on to our livestock arena. According to our lease, we have to have written permission from the county board to add on to it. And the second one is to show you some of the positive things that have been going on at the fair. And I know some of you have had conversations with some of the board members that haven't been exactly positive, so I wanted to show you what we've been doing. First of all, and I've had unbelievable support from the community. And when I've asked for donations, they've been designated donations. So if I need money for ventilation, that's what the money goes for. And they've been pretty pleased to know that the money just doesn't go into a pot. So it might be hard to see, but the ones in green are the things that have been totally funded. Like new pens in the livestock arena, that was $13,600, fully funded. This is the ventilation, that's over $5,000, that's fully funded. And 2 AEDs, the townships are very helpful on those, and so is Crosby Hospital. This one is new picnic tables for the Veterans Garden. We need to widen the doors on the barns so we can get the manure spreader through there. We've got 30 new rabbit cages funded, a man cage, or it's man basket, I call it the cage. A man basket because we did have one of our workers fall out of the bucket and end up on his head on the ground. So right away we got a man cage custom built. And then curtains to put up on one side of the building. Now the unfunded would be the addition, and this is the addition. It'd be a 10 by 80 that will go between the livestock barn and the arena. We ran out of space, and that's one thing that most fairs don't have a problem with. So those 2 have not been. Then we also want new picnic tables because ours are pretty heavy and they're hard to move around. And then we need our 3-year plan. We need new asphalt in the entire fairground. It's cracked, it's a hazard to even walk on. Okay, then, we want to replace the windows, the administration building is totally full of flies every spring. It's terrible, because the windows are old. That building's been there since 1962.
Does that keep them out of the other buildings, though?
Yeah.
If they're in your building.
Yeah, the arena has a little problem. We use a lot of fly swatters there. Okay, then we need to build a new workshop so the guys don't have to wait until it's not raining to change lawnmower blades and work on equipment and things like that. And then a heavy-duty trailer to haul the tractor when it needs repair or the other heavy equipment. So we don't have to drive it clear through town or to Baxter to Midwest Machinery. And it usually breaks down during VIR weekends. So those are basically what we have going on. This is supposed to be funded, the addition. Any questions?
So you're asking for permission, Kathy?
Yes, we have the written permission according to our lease.
So do you have a document that we would sign off on?
No?
Or,
Well, I thought maybe you could send us a letter granting permission. I don't know how this works.
right. So before we get to that, is there any concerns about giving permission to make that addition? Go ahead, Commissioner.
What would it, Kathy, what would it entail? I mean, it's not building a building, is it, or is it
It's a lean-to type addition.
onto what?
Onto the livestock arena, on the side where the goats and sheep, or the pigs usually are.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it'll have a 10 by 80 cement pad. And then the pens will be on there, and there'll be a 4-foot walkway so they can take their animals out.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, I will say the Fair Association, well, I call it the Agricultural Society because that's, I believe, what the proper term is. They have maintained this. I used to be on the Fair Board way back in the 80s, and the Fair Board has maintained all those facilities. I can remember when they, it used to be, his last name was Gilbertson. Ruth was his wife's name. She was involved with the fair, and we used to shingle the roofs every 20 years, and now they're all, everything's tin, and they used to, I did a lot of painting out there, because it used to be just tongue and groove. And now they've done a great job, I think, in maintaining those buildings, and I don't see any issue with this. I think we've got a really nice fairgrounds.
Okay, so there's no objections. Amber, if you would ask Debbie when she gets back, or somebody to help with putting together that permission letter,
Yeah.
and put that on consent, yes.
And we have, this is what you're asking for permission of. So we have a pretty clear, definite what you're asking for.
Yes.
Okay, so that's all good.
Very good, Kathy.
Thank you.
That was short and sweet.
And thank you for the financial statements. I've never really seen one from the Fair Board, so
Yes.
I will be reviewing that.
Thank you.
He's a numbers guy.
Oh, good. Oh, dear.
Really?
Maybe in trouble. I did the budget, so we'll see.
Number 4.
Yeah, I'm
That's number 5.
yeah. Oh, and Paul.
Number 1.
No, I'm actually number 2.
I'm number one.
He's number 2, number
Talking
1.
about longevity. Forget what they're saying. It's about longevity. All right, thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Yep. Sheriff, what do you got to say today?
I got nothing for you today.
It was a quiet weekend,
No funny games. It was relatively quiet.
was it?
Yeah, nothing.
A lot of action with the, BIR and sort, but, yeah, it went through it.
Did anybody take you up on the ride to go riding around the fair, to the,
Oh, you did. You should have. If you've never been out there, it's impressive to see all those campers and motorhomes that are just packed in there.
I've been out there numerous times, so.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad they were full and that it was event-free,
Yes.
I guess. So if there's nothing else, I will
Boy, that was quick.
call the adjournment.
Jamie probably have PTSD, you don't do that.
That's exactly, when he brought that up, I was looking at
Yes.
Bradley, and we were just laughing about it, 'cause I've seen plenty out there. I'm good for a while, another